Elon Musk just became the world's first trillionaire. And today, I'm going to show you how people are making money with public data that you can find with AI. Here's an example of someone getting over $9,200 a month in traffic. And here's another one with $285,000 a month in traffic. 2 million views a month, 200,000 views a month. And just last week, I made this little infographic, and already it's one of my top posts, bringing in tons of people who don't already follow me. This is super important. And did I mention I used AI to create all this? Yep, that's right. I even made this little page on my website where you can go through and visually see how he went from 0 to a trillionaire. This is already getting traffic and making sales. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a training you're going to want to pay attention to and watch all the way through at least one time, maybe even a couple times so it starts to sink in. Because as you can see here, infographics on public data like Elon Musk's $1 trillion net worth get tons of traffic. And if we can funnel that traffic to things that make money, like affiliate programs, mailing lists, and related products, well then, we could use this to build a business. I hinted at this in last week's video about public data and simple charts. This company is raking in a small fortune using public data. So if you're ready to learn exactly how to find public data with AI, turn that data into highly engaging content so you can build a business, well then, smash a like button. Let's dive in, and I'll show you exactly how it works. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in here and talk about how to make money with public net worth data. This is super important because we're looking at how Elon became a trillionaire. This went crazy in the news. A lot of people made infographics about it. I made an infographic about it, and this can actually drive a lot of traffic. And traffic is the name of the game. A lot of people that watch my videos, they say they struggle with traffic. Well, this is actually going to help you get that traffic if done correctly. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this because this is a business training video. We want to go through and not understand it as like, oh, do this and get this. No. In fact, the vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. Also, we want to make sure that we go through and we only use data that we have the rights to, only use content we have the rights to, only do honest, good things that actually help people. I'm going to talk to you about the and this method in just a minute, which is the idea of taking public data and adding something to it that's actually going to get you something different. Like maybe going through and talking about the top net worth people and what they actually did, or maybe a famous quote, or maybe a business book that talks about that strategy, or something very straightforward. What you want to do is add to the data and make it something more unique so that you get that traffic and you can drive them to what you want. Much like in the same way I'm making these little infographics to show people how we make infographics. Now, the big idea here is looking at net worth public data, because when you go through and you look at like Forbes, they have the top 100 or 500 bazillionaires or whatever it is. We want to take a look at that and say they are using data as content. That's public information you can go out there and find and fact check and all of that, and you can turn it into good stuff. This is data that's already out there and it's searched millions of times a day. When we go through and look at different things like this site here, which talks about the richest. Now, again, remember, this here is saying the traffic value is $9,200 a month. They could be making nothing. They could be making more. That's my guess based on doing this a long time. I'm guessing they're probably making more. But again, take this numbers with a grain of salt. Most people make nothing. This is what the data would cost. This is what the traffic would cost if they got it from Google. Now, another one over here, this is a bigger one for celebrity net worth. This one has a bigger amount. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at their traffic and we're going to look at where the traffic comes from. Because when you look at the keywords here, you're going to see like if you go to Ahrefs and type in billionaire, you can see there's a lot of people looking for billionaires. There's a lot of people looking for net worth. Elon is the top of that chart there. And then you have lots and lots of others. And this is stuff that can actually work in a really good way. In fact, here's a list of a bunch of sites that are doing this, getting a bunch of traffic. And this is just a small list. There's also people on social media, Facebook, Instagram that are doing this as well. The opportunity is not about just posting infographics. It's about positioning yourself as a hub for net worth data. When we look at this, a friend of mine, Evan, actually did this in a really cool way. He got up to 4.5 million subscribers. His is a little bit more detailed. He's actually going into like success tips and stuff like that. But going through there, he gets a lot of traffic, makes a lot of money. Now, if you want to just keep this very basic and surface level about net worth and stuff like that, you can actually do that. This is data that works really, really good. We saw in last video, the Visual Capitalist does this in a really good idea. Now, the core opportunity is public wealth data plus our unique angle. Whatever it is, like I'd go through and I would take the public net worth data and I'd sort each person into categories. Like, these are the internet entrepreneurs. Okay, here's a course about how to be an internet entrepreneur. Here's the people that do factories. Oh, here's how to start a factory, or whatever it is, right? Obviously, we don't want to do something super big, but we want to keep it something that we can actually get people to. And we're going to talk about affiliate programs and things like that. We're going to talk about how data actually drives a lot of traffic. If we can use this strategically, it can work. And it's not just net worth data, although that is one that's like kind of obvious and straightforward. It could be literally anything structured in the right way. Now, infographics are going to supercharge the net worth data because a lot of people will go through and they will have a post and they'll get traffic from that post. And something like this, where we go through and look at, okay, this guy's getting 3.5 million visitors a month. When we look at his amount here, I think he's getting actually around that amount, like 6 million or something like that. When we look at that, we want to say, okay, well, what is that traffic actually going to do? What are we getting them into? Well, people that usually look up net worth stuff are either just trying to figure it out to settle a bet, or they're interested in this as a whole. And when you do this with social media and you do this with organic Google traffic and things like that, you're going to start to build and grow. Now, when we go through and look at this, a lot of these get tons of traffic. And the golden rule is net worth data plus a compelling visual, something that visualizes it, right? Maybe Elon Musk versus the average person. And then you could say, oh, the average person is 100,000 net worth. Here's things people with 100,000 net worth do that makes them grow, or whatever it is. Very straightforward. Keep it honest, keep it good. Always have disclaimers. Compelling visual plus strong angle equals viral traffic that converts. This works like crazy. I've used it many, many times. Why this specific niche of the net worth stuff is so powerful. First of all, 37% increase in website traffic. If you were to look at Google Trends over here, you could see that the term trillionaire actually took off right here. This is why my infographic got a lot of traffic there. Okay, and it's not a lot. I mean, it's 1,700 people that didn't know me before. Now they know me, which is cool. And I can actually make content around that and build around it. It is tapering off. However, Elon Musk, the term here is actually still going strong, right? So that one's taken off right now. It is a breakout term, which means it's getting a lot of traffic. Also, if you were to take a look at net worth, you could see that this is pretty steady across the years. I mean, a lot of people look up net worth, which is pretty cool. So looking at that, you have an increase in website traffic, 3 times more social engagement. I've seen that this is actually the fact if you have really good info. And what you want to do is you want to know why you're doing that info in the first place. If I'm doing net worth, it's not just to share net worth data. It's because I want to sell something. So I'm going to do net worths on like maybe musicians. Here's how to be a musician. Or people who are like, oh, these are investors. Oh, here's maybe the Motley Fool or something like that. And we can get them into different affiliate programs that pay really well. This is absolutely key. Also, infographics are 30 times more likely to be read than text. And they have a 650 times more social share rate, or 650% more, right? Going through and looking at that is super, super important. Now, when we go through even deeper, we're going to look at the piggyback strategy, which is real world examples. All right. We mentioned Evan Carmichael. He does this where he takes it a step further. He talks about the net worth of people, but then he also talks about their tips. Like he'll go through and talk about Oprah stuff and what are Oprah's success tips? What are Elon's success tips? Different things like that can work really good, because then what you're doing is you're not just sharing data, you're sharing tips on how they got there, which is going to hit a different type of person. That's going to hit the entrepreneur people versus the people who are like, oh, bro, he's a trillionaire, right? We don't necessarily just want everyone who wants to go, oh, bro, he's a trillionaire. We want the people who are like, oh, how did he get there? What did he do? How do we look at his tips and his success and his strategy? This is something very key that Evan Carmichael does. And we have a video I'll put in the description along with last week's Visual Capitalist video. Watch both of those. They're really good. we go through and talk about how he's sharing the data, adding his framework and his brand, turning public information into his content asset. This is absolutely key. Now, when we look at the top 25 sites that are doing this, you have like Celebrity Net Worth, The Richest, and all of these here that are getting tons and tons of traffic for this stuff. And what you could see is the traffic's not super competitive. Like if you had a video angle, if you had an Instagram angle or a infographic angle and a blog post, I think you're going to do a lot better than just one, and you're going to get a much better reaction. And the cool part about it is, like, if I'm going out there with AI to find this data, right? Like here's one for high net worth traffic and stuff like this. If we were to go through and look at this, we can find this data with AI, and it makes it very, very straightforward. Now, in this example, what I did is I actually found some advertorials we're going to talk about in a minute, because when you build public information type stuff where you're going through and like, net worth, or what are this guy's success tips, or how did this business start, or how does this business make money? When you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to get a really, really hyper targeted amount of traffic to people that are interested in the extra, how did that make money? How did Elon make money, right? And if we go through and we understand that, you could actually go through with something like ChatGPT and you could say, let's wait till it loads here, right? And you could go through and say something like, tell me the top net worth or something like that. We could go, tell me how Elon got rich in the beginning with PayPal. And you could even turn this into multiple pieces of content where you talk about his net worth at different stages, what he did to get there, and what the entrepreneur lessons are. What that will do is it's going to get people who are interested in being an entrepreneur or have some kind of interest in this stuff, and then you can get them into, oh, hey, here's a course or a training or a webinar or whatever it is. Obviously, make sure it's ethical and good. If you were talking about stocks, maybe you talk about Warren Buffett or something like that, you can go over to Offer Vault right here, and you could do something like Motley Fool, right, like this, the Motley Fool, and they pay a lot of money for leads for a stock course, which is cool. And as far as I know, it's a pretty good course. I don't know, I'm not a stock guy, but I know they've been around a while and they do really well. And this is the kind of thing they do. They report on the different stuff. I mean, thinking about how data can structure your content is key, because I could literally go through and do public data on how stocks grew, right? Like, oh, how did this go from IPO to here? How did the company grow? What did they do? I could look at income reports, like these types of blogs and things like that. Now, when we talk about how they make money, a lot of these sites use Ezoic, they use ads on their site and different things like that. And we're going to do some of that, but we're also going to do something more specific. Because the more specific you get, the more money you're going to make, right? That's really key. You have to be very specific on what you're doing. So going through here, looking at this data, this is the kind of thing I can start in Instagram. I wouldn't even need my own website. However, I would highly, highly recommend having your own website. That way you have places to send people. Like I have visual data or visualprofits.com over here like this, which is cool. Now, going through here, when you're doing AdSense and Ezoic and stuff, you're going to see that a lot of page views can equal a good amount. However, when you look at page views, obviously it's not that easy to get a bunch of traffic. So what we want to do is we want to try to maximize the most we can get out of our traffic. So I'm going to go through and maybe I talk about, the top net worth of stock traders or whatever, and then I get them into a stock course. Or maybe I talked about the top people who make money with blogs, and then I lead them into a blog course or something like that. Or maybe even YouTubers. A lot of people do, here's the top YouTubers. You can get them into a how to make videos course or something like that. When we look at monetizing the traffic, we want to look at the best affiliate offers. Now, it's very important that you keep ethics at the most top front of everything. If there's an offer that looks good, but it's not, that good ethically, don't do it. Always do good stuff. That's why over the years, I haven't promoted a lot of different things where I know I can make money, but I don't because it doesn't fit my ethics. Now, going through here, I wouldn't do Robinhood or Webull because I don't understand it. I don't know. They might be good. I have no idea. But going through, you could do investing apps and brokerages, or even going and looking at the advertorial model, like sending people from your your infographic to an advertorial is a great way to go, where I could go through and say, oh, maybe it goes through and it's like, oh, here's the top 10 things you should do if you're middle class or whatever, right? Here's how to get money out of your house and increase your net worth or whatever it is. Obviously make it true and good. You can see some examples here of people doing that, where the core idea would be high net worth content. This gets the attention. The bridge is, here's the famous person, here's what they do, here's the simple lesson, and here's the tool that makes it happen, right? So like maybe you're like, oh, Oprah likes the law of attraction. Here's a law of attraction course. Very straightforward, stuff like that, okay? Obviously, you don't want to say like you're endorsed or you're any part of these. You're just a independent review content person. Okay, very important there. But when we go through here, you could look at like billionaire investing habits. Here's the stocks the billionaires are buying, or ultra wealthy money secrets, or whatever it is. A lot of people are doing this in a very, very straightforward way. NerdWallet does this all the time. Motley Fool, Yahoo Finance, and all of these others are just doing this like crazy. If you were to go through and look at this, you could do something like Warren Buffett's boring money rule most people ignore. Then you could do net worth breakdown, how it works, and then maybe get them into like a empowerment offer or like a stock course or personal development course or something like that. Really, really cool stuff. You just want to really focus on what's out there. Going through and understanding, okay, maybe I could do like retirement, educational courses, books and physical products like this. You could even go through, I think Audible has a program where if they sign up for Audible, they get a free trial. The affiliate gets like $15 to $30 to sign them up. So you could go through and say, here's his net worth, here's his top tips. By the way, you can listen to his audiobook on Audible, click here. That's an affiliate link that would work really well. Again, it's not like it's going to convert a bazillion, but putting these things together can work really good. And what I would do is I'd build a mailing list around that. So it would look like this, right? We're going out there, we're going to set up a little feed in our market, right? So I'd go through and say, okay, what's the feed? Well, I could set up a feed about net worth. And what that feed would do, right? What that feed would do is it would monitor maybe the top 250 entrepreneurs and their net worth to see what goes up and down. That way you hit the news and it'll work good. And then I'll make one like, oh, hey, Elon's a billionaire. Yay, wonderful. Here's some good books on Elon at Audible and Amazon. Here are some courses based on Elon's principles of work, right? Maybe you go through and you talk about, oh, he uses AI. Here's an AI course or something like that. And then what it'll do is it'll funnel it. So going through here, what I would do is I would get the feed, follow the 250 people, make the content about the net worths and the different things and the tips and the strategies, make really good content that helps people who are interested in this stuff, and then drive them all to a mailing list. Okay, so you put name and email, much like I do over at visualprofits.com. I say, put your name and email. We'll give you the information on how to do all this stuff. When we go through and do that, what's going to happen is you're now going to build a mailing list about people who are interested in net worth and interested in the strategies. And you literally already have the content because you had to go through and find that when you were making the blog post, the infographic, the video, or whatever you're doing, right? Very, very straightforward. The formula is this. You're going to turn net worth data into a business. First, you don't need to be a media conglomerate to execute this. A lot of people can use this with AI. You can look at all the stuff out there. Obviously, make sure you have the rights to use it. Then you're going to go through and find the data, right? You can look at Forbes, Bloomberg, whatever. Find that angle you're going to have, whether it's their success tips, whether it's how they started in the beginning, whether it's breaking down the business model, whatever it is, very straightforward. So if I was going to go through and do something like all of these net worths, I would probably just focus on business people. If I wanted to do all of them, I can. And then I would just branch them off into like, oh, Cardi B, I think she's a singer. Maybe it'd be like, oh, here's how to be a singer or something like that, right? Or maybe here's her top success tips or something. But what I would do is I'd try to find content on people that I want to talk about, like business people and stuff like that, which there's tons of them. So what we can do is we can set up Google Alerts or feeds for terms like net worth, richest, trillionaire, and the names of public figures. You probably want to do billionaire because trillionaire is only going to have one, right? Then we're going to choose our content format. What I would do is I would start with an infographic. Okay, start with that infographic like the one I showed you earlier that I put on Facebook. That's your big data point, and then turning that into a blog post is not that difficult. Put it on my blog. Boom, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an infographic, then turn it into a blog post. Okay, you could use AI to do a lot of this, but again, have that format of what do you want them to do next? What do I want them to do? For me, I would want them to go to my website, put their name and email in, and follow my success tips. That's going to drive the whole thing, right? If you're just sending them to an affiliate link, good luck. If they don't convert, you just did all that traffic and got nothing. So building a mailing list is absolutely key. Then I would go through and make like an advertorial for different affiliate products or something like that. Maybe Motley Fool if I'm doing stocks or something. Very straightforward. I can go through, I can make interactive calculators or tools, much like I did with the Elon one here. A little calculator, a little tool. I actually made a few others that are like compare him with the average net worth. How much would you need to make to get even close to him? Stuff like this works really well, and it gets people thinking about finances, which is really cool. Going through there is absolutely key. When we go and turn this into like a short video or a TikTok or something, then going through, we can make it a downloadable report. Now, another key and thing to pay attention to is it's very tempting in these markets to use images. If you're going to use images, make sure you have the rights to them. If you don't have the rights to them, don't use them. Very important. Number 3, we're going to add our angle. We're not just going to repost raw data. We're going to add a point of view. My point of view in this example was I wanted to show why and how he got to a trillionaire. Like, what was that like when he went through in the beginning, right? I think I can... Let's do PayPal. So when he goes through the beginning in PayPal, it shows how much he made there, then Tesla, his weird products, and then how he became a trillionaire. And the cool part about it is AI went and found this data, and it's actually very, very good data. And when you understand this, it's like, oh, now I can go through and say, well, how did he find this? What was the key there? Like when you look at Jeff Bezos, right? It's easy to say, oh, he's worth, $300 billion or whatever. But how did he actually get there? There's little clues that are helpful for entrepreneurs if you're willing to extract that data. And that's where AI is really key, is we can extract that data, build content around it, and make it work. That's where we're going to add our angle and make it different. Now, when adding your angle, make sure you think about how you're going to make money with it, right? If you can't do that, like anyone can post Cardi B's income, but if we post her net worth, is it actually going to help us get the traffic we want, right? If I get 1 million people looking at Cardi B net worth, are those people that are entrepreneurs? Probably not. However, the entrepreneur ones are probably more specific to entrepreneurship. That's the traffic I would want. That's what I want to do. I want to build that list of people that are seeking for entrepreneur help and tips and things like that. Then we're going to distribute it. Go through, make your Instagram carousels, your Pinterest, YouTube shorts, TikTok shorts, Reddit, make sure it's good. LinkedIn, you can do a report on LinkedIn. Each platform has a different audience and a different shelf life. Then always include a CTA. Like on mine, I have go to visualprofits.com. Always have this there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to monetize the traffic. Go through, have an affiliate link for whatever it is you want to promote. Going through, maybe you could do like, ClickBank offers or whatever it is, okay? Straightforward stuff. Make it congruent. The key is be very congruent. Like if you're getting a mailing list of people interested in entrepreneur tips, find a good entrepreneur course. Pretty straightforward, or books or something like that. What we're going to do is look at an example flow here where we would post the trillionaire graphic, get your reach. CTA is start tracking your net worth. Maybe you have, track your net worth kind of thing. Or maybe you go through with write an Elon Musk net worth blog post, rank it on Google, embed affiliate links to different accounts in investing, right? Maybe people are interested in how do I invest in, SpaceX or whatever. Now, I'm not a stock market guy. I don't know about it. That's why I don't do that type of content. I know a little bit, but I'm not by any means skilled in that area, so I don't do that one. I am good at dissecting how entrepreneurs made money That's why I go that angle. So find one that fits congruently with what you do and what you know about. If you don't know about it, you could just do like success tips or quotes or whatever it is. Very, very straightforward. We're actually going to follow up on this in a video on Friday where I'm going to talk about how to do this with books. Really, really cool. Now, what you add matters. This is the power of your angle. We don't want to just put the data itself. That's not the content. Your angle is. Two people can post the same Elon Musk wealth chart, write about the same list, or build a page. One goes viral, one doesn't. Why? The difference is the angle. How are we viewing this? Like if Bernie Sanders posts about Elon being a trillionaire, that's going to have a different angle because he's looking at it from income inequality. If Jeff Bezos posts about it, it's going to be different. If a random person who talks about business posts about it, if you have some angle on it, that's where the key is going to be. Think about the angle as the emotional hook that makes someone stop scrolling, click a link, or share a post. What is it that's going to stop them? Data by itself is boring. Data with a specific point of view is magnetic. When Visual Capitalist posted the trillionaire graphic, their angle was awe and scale, making you feel the incomprehensible size of, hey, for every dollar you have, Elon Musk has everything, right? Whatever it is. When a personal finance blogger writes about the same milestone, their angle might be urgency and aspiration. Here's why you need to invest or whatever. Same data, completely different audience response. Again, keep it ethical, keep it good, stay in your lane about what you know about. This applies whether your content format is infographic, blog post, video, or a tweet. The angle is net worth, wealth data, plus your unique point of view. And this is the kind of thing you can go through, find your angle. What is it you like? What is it that interests you about this data? For me, again, I like to see how the heck did they get it? What did they do? What can I learn from it? That's my key, is like, what can I learn from him being a trillionaire? Okay, very important. Then you have the emotional hook, and that's what creates viral content. Now, again, remember, not everything's going to go viral. Like mine got, 1,700 views on one platform, some others on others. It didn't go super viral, but it did get me people that I want. This is key. You want the right type of people. Some proven angles that drive engagement are the shocking comparison. Here's what he has. Here's what average people had. How he did it. This is key. This is what I like. Or what this means for you. What does this mean for the average person? The skeptic angle, like, does he really have a trillion? Or is it just in stocks and does it actually work? That would be a really good one as well. Or what does that actually mean? The beginner blueprint, oh, here's how he got his first million or first billion or whatever. Nostalgia timeline showing the journey, or comparison angle where we look at, 1 trillion is the same as all of Switzerland's money or whatever it is. The key takeaway is before you post any infographic, ask yourself, what do I want my audience to feel? And what do I want them to do next? The answer to that question is your angle, and your angle is what makes your content different. You want to turn one data story into a content empire. Maybe I can go through and find 10 different tips or strategies about how Elon worked. Like maybe I could do, they didn't tell you when Elon almost went broke. Find his quotes about that, make a nice little infographic talking about what to do if you're broke or whatever. This is literally how professional content marketers and media companies like Visual Capitalist, Forbes, Morning Brew, and others operate. One data story, maximum distribution. You have your blog post. Go put a blog post up. Interactive web tool like my little calculator or whatever it is. These are very good because they get backlinks and they get shared. Tools like this, you can make an AI very, very quickly. The key, again, is have the angle. What does it look like? Maybe you make one about the taxes, right? Like thinking about that, you could say, oh, Elon pays less in taxes than the average plumber, right? Are you paying too much in taxes? Then you can get them into a tax course or an accountant. Something like that. Thinking about this ahead of the game is key because there's a lot of traffic here, and all we have to do is get people interested. Right? As an affiliate marketer, as long as it's ethical and good, I can send them wherever I want, which is cool. Or I could even send them to an advertorial about, here's what you need to know about taxes. Here's how the rich save money on taxes and the average person doesn't, or whatever. This kind of stuff works really good. Press release, you can go through and do a press release about it. Very, very cool. Email newsletter, this is where you build your mailing list. You could do videos and shorts. Pinterest pins, this is a very straightforward way to go. Pinterest pins show up all the time in Google. They get lots of traffic. There's people that make a living just doing Pinterest pins. Obviously, remembering the vast majority of people trying to make money make nothing. The Reddit post, social media carousel, you could even have a podcast about it, right? Interview other entrepreneurs or just talk yourself. Lead magnet free report. This is key because we could go through and do like Visual Capitalist, Morning Brew, and hundreds of others where we build that mailing list. When you build a mailing list, it doesn't just give you people to email that you can send offers to. It gives people that are going to jumpstart your next content. So like if I get a bunch of people from my email list on the Elon Musk one, then when I come out with a good report about how Jeff Bezos got rich and his calculator, now I'm going to have a built-in audience. It's going to jumpstart it. This is key. This is one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about. Then we go through and multiply the content. Maybe one net worth data story can be 10 repurposed formats, 10 traffic sources, 10 backlink opportunities, 10 chances to convert a visitor into a customer. Infographics can work extremely well when you look at Pinterest, YouTube, other places like that. This stuff goes extremely well, and there are tons of people out there taking advantage of this traffic. The key is do it in a really good way. Talk about maybe the milestones or whatever your angle is. That's going to be the key. Now, again, remember, results are not typical. I've done this for a long time. Most people make nothing, but there are people out there who do get good results. But don't think you're going to put one infographic up and make $9,200 a month for doing nothing, right? It doesn't work that way. It takes work, effort, and even if you do everything right, there's no real guarantee it's going to work. You have to look at this as a business. Also, have an affiliate disclaimer and look at your content disclaimer. Say, hey, there could be errors. This was made by AI or whatever it is. Now, I'm going to go through and put an entire list of different websites, content, ideas, keywords, and everything over at visualprofits.com. You can put your name and email in the box. You can also see different infographics places. There's all kinds of data here that shows you different people who are doing this and getting results, like The Economist and others. You could actually look at this and see how visual data can make money. So visualprofits.com for the notes. Check out the videos in the description. There's 2 videos. One I did with Evan. You can watch that one. And another one I did on data with the example we talked about earlier with the $16 million visual data example. This stuff works good. Have a good affiliate offer. Have something very straightforward that fits your traffic. And by all means, if you're really serious about this, build a mailing list, check out visualprofits.com, and I'll see you in the next video.